We've now connected xaitControl to a small application that's running in the background, and let's have a look at the instance browser over here. The instance browser gives you an overview of all the finite state machine instances that are currently active in the xaitControl library. You see the instance browser here. You can see that there are small green chain icons to the left of the entries in the instance browser, and the chain can either be open, like it's down here at bot blockade, or closed, as you can see here. For FSM sets and FSMs, the closed chain icon means that the state machine set or the state machine has been loaded by the library. The open chain icon means that the library did not load the respective finite state machine set. Looking at concrete instances, these are those here, the behavior of the connection icon is slightly different. When an instance exists in the library, then the connection icon will be closed. If an instance does not exist in the library or does not exist anymore, then the connection icon will be open, like it's seen here. So what you see here means that all those sets are loaded within the library, the sets and the FSMs, but there's only instances of the bot cover state machine, the gun state machine, and not an instance of the bot blockade state machine. The instance browser allows you to decide which finite state machine instance should automatically break after each step. And you can put breakpoint on the whole FSM instance by clicking on the empty breakpoint icon. Then the instance will break whenever it enters or leaves a state or a transition. And if you check the auto-enable breakpoints checkbox, then all new instances will automatically get a breakpoint in the instance browser. This way the debugger will automatically halt as soon as a new instance is created. Of course, you can add breakpoint within the state machine as well. In xaitControl, you can put breakpoints on transitions and states, as well as preconditions and postconditions. In the case of states, the breakpoint can be triggered upon entering a state or upon leaving a state. Adding breakpoints is just easy. Just right-click here and then add a breakpoint on the enter state or on the leave state, or you can add conditional breakpoints, which means that you have a breakpoint that you can combine with a Boolean expression. Same holds true for transitions. You can just add breakpoints to a transition before the post commands are executed, after the post commands are executed, and same thing but with Boolean expressions as a condition. You can halt the state machines by the pause button here. You can continue, you can single step or go to the next state of a state machine or of a current instant. What is yellow here shows you where you are right now in the state machine in the current instant. So the gun state machine, indicated by this arrow, is in the cooldown weapon state, waiting for the timer of this transition here to be done, to then go to the change gun position state. Then down here there's the history browser dockable. This allows you to trace the execution of the state machine instance. It shows you a list containing the states and transitions that have been visited by the library. At the top of the history dockable, you can see three buttons called Simple, Detailed, and Full. These buttons allow you to switch between different views on the history. And when you select the simple view, like it is here, then the history dockable will show a trace of the history that only contains state accesses and transition accesses. The detailed view will show you both state accesses and transition accesses, as well as individual post-command executions in the list. And the full view shows you when the library enters or leaves a state or a transition and the evaluation of preconditions and execution of post-command. Now, if you click on a row in the history list, then xaitControl Creator will highlight the selected state or transition with a yellow border. As you see here now, it's recent, right? The states and transitions that will be visited or executed are shown in orange. So if the FSM instance was halted by a breakpoint, then this breakpoint will also be shown in yellow. And now if I step backwards, you see how it goes through the history. Orange is now where I've been before, and yellow is now corresponding to the entrance in this history browser. So if I go way back, it'll flip through the state machines and through the states that I've visited, and you can go forward again, right? Just going forward, and backward, and that whole thing until you are back in the recent state. And as you've seen here, if you have a look at the control flow window, it will also highlight if there are transitions in that state that I'm right now, what transitions there are, if there are preconditions and post-conditions, right, as you see here. So you get a full view of the history, wherever you've been, whatever was valid there. You can go and have a look at the variable browser as well. The variable browser shows you all the variables and their values that are relevant for the selected entrance in the history browsers. There's more info to see. It's the call stack dockable over here. Call stack dockable shows you the sub FSMs that have been visited for the current state. Let's choose this state over here, and you see for that entrance of the history browser, there is an entrance in the call stack describing that a leaving transition aiming to start in the sub-state machine FSM gun. So each entry in the call stack dockable lists the transition that led to sub-FSM. So let's single step through that whole application just to see what happens. You can go on stepping through that whole thing. Now you see, for example, that here we've got another breakpoint that since I'm single stepping through it, breakpoint has been triggered right at the end of that transition, setting a certain post command. So what you can see is that with that graphical debugger, you got the full control. You see the variables that are relevant. You see the call stack that is relevant. You can have a look in the control flow window for relevant preconditions and postconditions. You'll get a history browser showing you all the way that you have gone through the state machine. You can go through the history browser. You got a simple, detailed, and full view with different information. You can set breakpoints, auto-enable breakpoints. As we have mentioned before, xaitControl comes with a full-fledged debugger that lets you, just as you would do it with other debuggers, lets you find your bugs in the software more easily in a graphical way.